Welcome back to CEO Central. Well, as always, a lot has happened since the last time we spoke, particularly in Canberra. I'm not going to dwell too much on the Peter Slipper situation and what that means for us. My belief is that essentially it doesn't change much for clubs, for the legislation that the government is intending introducing into the House in the winter session, which is coming up just after the budget is rolled out by Treasurer Swan. Andrew Wilkie's posturing in the media, his continuing threats, I don't believe will move the government from its position. It's developed draft legislation. We're aware of what's in there, broadly speaking, and we expect that to be introduced, but it will only be introduced if Andrew Wilkie decides to support it. So it's a bit of a Mexican standoff at the moment. My guess is that eventually common sense will prevail and that we will see the legislation. However, common sense is not in abundant supply. Let's see where it goes. All I can tell you is that our situation is relatively stable. We're keeping a very close eye on it and we watch developments in Canberra with great interest. Well, there's a lot happening in here at Clubs New South Wales. Some exciting initiatives are under development right now. Last time I talked a little bit about Club Employers Mutual, an initiative that will save clubs real dollars when it comes to workers' compensation premiums and lead to better return to work outcomes, and that is progressing. We hope to make a formal announcement on that very soon. We think it will be very well received by clubs, but we're working on other things as well. We've commenced a Future Leaders program, essentially for young leaders in the club industry, people with high potential, people that we want to train up to be our advocates and leaders of tomorrow. Very exciting. About 35 young clubbies, if I can term them that. They're being trained up in areas like finance and administration, but they will also be given some tuition in media relations, government and policy, lobbying, all of those things that we believe are important to us as an industry. So that is underway and it will go right through until February. Also working on the conference for this year. The theme is Rise. It's about rising to the challenge, and it will be an exciting program as always between the 8th and the 11th of October. Some terrific keynote speakers, seminar sessions, master classes, a great trade expo as always, and of course our AGM. So you'll see a lot more coming out about that in the coming weeks. Lastly, I want to touch on the corporate governance reforms that the government introduced in legislation in November. And we've been working on, through our working party, which was made up of managers, directors, lawyers and other experts, we've responded to that, and you'll see a circular come out from Clubs New South Wales explaining the approach that we've taken with the government. Basically, we've said that we support the government in reducing board sizes to 9, allowing clubs to appoint directors who are non-members and to start working up the framework for director and manager training. We've asked the government to just move slowly on the other two issues which were creating some consternation in clubland, relating to mandatory triennial elections and also opening up club boards to the general membership, making clubs more representative as the government's legislation coined it. We've said to the government there's no need to activate those last two measures yet. We believe that the industry can take care of those issues. We'll be creating some best practice guidelines and education resources for clubs. We think that's the better way to go rather than using legislation, I should say. On that note, I'd like to sign off. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.